Hi, I'm Megan, and this is Ella, and we're doing registered nursing.
Registered nursing is a nurse who is a medical professional who specializes in patient care. Patient care includes direct care, which is taking care of the patients, administering meds, and making sure they're overall healthy. The pros of being a registered nurse is the salary. It usually ranges from $43,000 to $78,000 a year. It only takes a 4-year degree, which is really nice because most our medical fields are pre-professional. It's always full of opportunities. You will always be using critical thinking. It's always different. And then nursing is also a forever evolving profession. And since there are many sick people in the world and we don't have cures for everything yet, it will most likely be a profession for a long time. The cons are the work schedule. You're often working 12-hour shifts on weekends, holidays, weekdays. There are a lot of risks being a frontline worker, specifically with the pandemic as well. And then there's also a lot of physical demands. You are on your feet for those 12-hour shifts. It's typically 4+ days a week. So doing all of that will deteriorate your body eventually. There are approximately 4 million nurses in the US, and a lot of those nurses are currently above 50, which means there will be a lot of newer nurses just coming out of college and younger nurses. The job outlook is 9%, and there is approximately 200,000 job openings per year, which means there is a lot of need for nurses. We interviewed my Aunt Terry, who works at a Mayo Clinic branch in Red Wing, Minnesota. We learned how hands-on nursing really is, and she chose to highlight that there is a lot of deep wound care and overall just working with the patients, bed baths, stuff like that. And then we also thought it was cool that there were a lot of precautions that Terry had to take working during a pandemic, with all of the PPE, changing it every time you left the rooms, and just a lot of hand washing and stuff like that. What we were concerned about learning is that patients are often rude, and the job is often referred to as like a handmade position.
All right, so our first job posting was at the Mayo Clinic. It's an ER position, which requires a lot of hands-on and like a lot of critical thinking, a lot of quick thinking. 2 years of experience is required for this job, so you could have experience at, I don't think it really matters. I think it's like you could have an experience at a senior living facility or just like as a or desk person. You just need experience somewhere. It also requires the typical nursing certifications and degrees, so the typical like TEAS test and nursing degree. The CSP nursing program would help with that. They'd help you prepare for your TEAS test and prepare yourself for getting experience for what you want to go into with nursing. The duties require good communication with patients and taking care of patients. Communication is probably very important, especially for an ER position, because to help your critical thinking, you have to hear how the patient is feeling. You also need good communication skills, obviously, and prior experience with computers, because you have to do a lot of computer and filling out paperwork. This position has 12-hour rotating shifts, so you would work every other week, as well as weekends and holidays. The pay is the typical nurse or salary of a nurse, which is about $43K a year, so it's not much, but it's something. The benefits also include medical and life insurance, as well as paid time off. We picked this position because it's the field Ella wants to pursue. The next one is an RN position at the Federal Bureau of Prisons. This position is in Minnesota, so it's they pick the job for you, or like what location you're going to be at. The Federal Bureau of Prisons is an agency that is responsible for the care and custody of prisoners. So you'd be working hands-on with inmates. You need at least 1 year of RN experience, which is required for this position. You also need the typical TEAS tests, like the certifications and nursing degree requirements. The CSP nursing program would allow you to gain that experience, obviously. Many benefits are provided, especially because it's a government position, such as medical insurance, dental insurance, a 401k, and multiple other things. You also get paid time off, I think. In this position, you're required to give direct care to prisoners, which is very risky because that's very scary, obviously. And when Ella was talking about the violence that patients can give off, I looked it up, and apparently prisoners have the highest rate of violence towards nurses. The pay for this position can range from 43K to about 78K a year, depending on the seniority in the company, depending on your seniority in the company. We picked this position because it really shows the variety and diversity in nursing. The next one is a med-surg position. The med-surg position was posted by the Mayo Clinic as well, but this one was in Rochester. The position is where you're working with patients, preparing for surgery and recovering them when they're done with surgery, which is mostly, I think it's mostly you're helping recovering patients when I looked into the job. The position requires 1 year of experience. They, in the website or the application, they explain that you just need 1 year of experience, like any medical. You don't need an RN experience. And the typical certifications and nursing degree is required. You need experience working with computers because you're going to do a lot of paperwork. I think you need to do paperwork after every surgery just to see how the patient is doing. You need communication skills because obviously you need to communicate with your patient to help them get better. Flexible hours are required because there's a lack of nurses right now. And you need the ability to adapt. So you need to be able to adapt in different nursing environments, different types of patients, everything like that. The duties include planning, implementing, evaluating, and communicating. So planning, so you have to plan like what the patient is going to do for the day or what you have to give the patient. You have to implement things to help them get better, and you have to evaluate the patient to get better or see how they're getting better or what to do to get them better, and communicating, obviously, so they can so you can communicate to them what you're doing, and so they can communicate to you how they're feeling. The hours for this job are also rotating 12-hour shifts. So you're rotating every other week, and you're rotating your holiday shifts as well. The pay for this position also starts at 43K and can raise to 78K due to experience with the company and loyalty as well. We picked this position because our interviewee, Terry, works at in a med-surg hospital. The children's hospital position, this is an ER position. This is also a pediatric nursing position. You're going to be in the emergency department, which you are required to have the typical nursing degree and certifications as well. This position also requires experience working in the hospital for about 1 year. So you have to be a registered nurse for about 1 year. The skills of this position include good communication and problem solving. I think good communication is really important, especially with kids, because kids don't know how to express how they feel most of the time. So having that skill is really good and would give you a lot of help in this job. The hours were not included on this application, but the typical nursing hours are to be expected. So typical 12-hour shifts, holidays, weekends, etc. Duty, you have to, the duties are assessment of the patient's conditions, consistent with their age because they're younger and they're minors, evaluating the patient's response to care, which is very important with children because, as I said before, they don't always express how they feel. Patient's response to care, so the kids, you have to see how they respond to different types of care, if they're all fit or not. Same with like the good communications, it's like the same. Teaching, so you have to teach the kids, help them like understand things that you're doing to them because they don't always understand, especially the younger kids. And discharge plans. I also think with the teaching, it's important to communicate with the kids what is happening and teaching them how to deal with it as well with the emotional stuff. I think that's also included with the teaching part. The salary was not posted, but expected to be 43K to 78K a year, depending on experience. That can also raise higher, especially now because of COVID. I think they're getting paid a lot more a year. I think, how much is it? 92, 93? 92K because of COVID, but this was the salary before COVID. Benefits such as medical insurance is provided, as well as paid time off, and I think dental insurance, and you get a 401k as well. I think there's multiple other experiences or multiple other benefits, but I don't remember them. We picked this job posting because I wanted to specialize in it because kids are my favorite, and I love them to death, and I just want to see them get better, and I don't want any kid to die.
And this is the Children's Hospital in Minneapolis.
Yes. The similarity and differences between all the jobs are the similarity part. The goals of being a caretaker and being a good communicator, as well as helping the patient get back to being healthy. I mean, I think that's typically what nurses' goals are, or what the similarity of each job is, because nobody, even the inmates one, nobody wants to go on. The differences are the different positions, such as a job in pediatric nursing and then the job in the prisoner nursing. Those are very different and can range because one is scary and one is not.
Well, they're both scary. It's just different types of scary and different job duties.
Yeah. Each job deals with different types of duties, as well as some include computer skills and medical technology skills as well. So yes. The requirements for a job in nursing, you need a proof of a GED, American Heart Association Basic Life Support Certification, NECLEX, a TEAS test with a minimum score of 65%, a background check, a national council licensure examination for registered nursing. The requirements for the CSP nursing program include a completion of 60 prerequisite credits, an official transcript, a GPA of 3.0, being able to hold the 3.0 throughout the program, and a completion of the ATI test with 60% or above.
The prerequisite courses are like biology, chemistry for health professions, psychology, and stuff like that.
And these are our references. Thank you.
Thank you.
This was really fun.